Yo, what's up guys? It's Sunday, I'm back in the garage. Today, the Can-Am's getting a new toy. So SuperATV was kind enough to send me this SuperATV 5,000 pound winch, and we're gonna upfit that and install it in our factory UTV from bumper on the Can-Am X3. So I'm gonna show you what comes in the box and what you would need to know about installing this winch on your car. So this process is going to be very similar to a Polaris Razor, Honda Talon, whatever UTV and even quad that you have provisions for a winch, like an Outlander or a Renegade or even a Polaris Sportsman like my brother has. So the winches that SuperATV offers comes in three different flavors here. We got the 3,500 pound, the 4,500 pound, and the 5,000 pound winch. And mostly just the difference is the size of the motor and the pulling capacity that the winch has. So I got the 5,000 pound winch because this thing's a big girl. So we're gonna go over how to install this winch, what comes in the box, and how to get this working on your car. So this is gonna work on any bumper or bulkhead that you have that has a 3 by 6.6 inch mounting bolt pattern. So this works perfectly on the factory UTV bumper for the Can-Am X3. I already mocked it up. So I'm gonna show you guys how easy this is to install. All the cables are color coded and all the boxes have color coded bolts. So everything's pretty much streamlined. I already looked it over and it's gonna be easy install. So let's get started. So obviously what comes in the box is the SuperATV winch. You get the hook here, the clevis, and you got a pull rope or pull handle here that comes with it. You get the fair lead that fits perfectly on the factory UTV bumper. All I had to do is trim the bumper to for the hole, and that's pretty much it. And then you get those rope stops. These are the rope stops that come on the bumper, as you can see in the picture. They give you plenty of bolts, so you won't have to worry about that. They give you, this is the control box, so this has a wireless remote receiver in it, and you also get a wireless remote that talks to this. You get a battery input positive and negative, and then you have an output winch positive and negative, which is the yellow and blue. So red and black, that's for your battery. Yellow and blue, that's for the winch, and the winch is coated as well. There's a yellow washer here and a blue washer. So it's very simple to figure out how this is gonna go. So they give you the 4 cables, the yellow and blue for your winch, the black and red. It also comes with this harness here that comes with a switch for your in and out operation. At the end of the harness is this connector that plugs into this box, and then you also have to find a ignition source for this wire here. So like I was saying, this is a universal kit, so the switch that they give you isn't specifically for a UTV, but it does come with like a handlebar mount, so you could put it on a ATV or big bore quad. So we're not gonna be using this switch. I already took it apart. There's a positive and 2 output switch circuits, so it's gonna be fairly easy to just convert this into a switch that I have in the car, and I'll show you guys that in a little bit when I get to installing it. So the reason I'm doing that is because all the switches in my car look factory, they all look OEM, and that's the kind of the look that I want. So I'm gonna go with that. So don't worry, you can use this switch and not have to worry about losing your wireless connectivity, because that is all through this receiver here. So we're gonna go ahead and get to installing the winch, and then we'll run the rope through the hole here, install the fair lead, and then yeah, it'll be a fairly easy process. So I was looking at the mounting locations, and the top bolts are gonna be pretty simple. You can put a washer, a lock washer, and then the bolt, and it'll bolt to the front mounting location on the winch. The lower ones though, I suggest you just use Loctite and use no washers, because the clearance between the arm and the bulkhead or the bumper is kind of tight. I think it's better if you just go ahead and not put those washers. You don't want it rubbing against the arm when this arm fully compresses. So we're gonna go ahead and just put Loctite on this, and we'll tighten it up from the back. And yeah, so let's go ahead and start installing this winch. All right, it goes like that. Be very careful, you don't want to damage these studs for the battery cables, because I doubt you'll be able to fix that very easily. So the next step is going to be mounting the fair lead. This only goes on one way because the bolts are countersunk. So if you haven't cut the hole out, go ahead and do that now. The way I did it was I drilled some holes, and then I finished it off with a sanding wheel on a Dremel, and I cleaned up the hole. So I suggest cutting this hole larger than the opening in the fair lead, because you don't want the rope to be rubbing on the plate instead of just rubbing on the fair lead. So you will have to drill out these holes just a tiny bit, because the factory UTV screws are a little bit smaller than the SuperATV screws, but that's okay. The actual mounting bracket behind it is the same size as the SuperATV mounting screws. So Once you drill it out, put that in there, set your nut from behind, and you'll be done with this. Once the ferrule leads in, go ahead and pull the rope through. Make sure it doesn't snag on anything. All right, so the next step is providing power and ground to this winch, and here are the two cables that are going to do that job. So this is a blue and yellow cable that are going to go to the winch. They are also color coded blue and yellow. So we're going to bolt them up, run them through here underneath the fan, careful not to be pinched by anything, run them through the grommet of the wall of the front of the UTV, and then we're going to go to the inside and we're going to run the wires, well, probably from the driver's side, but we're going to run the wires along the other loom, and we're going to run them right here. And I think this is where I'm going to put the control box. So the reason I'm going to put this here is because I don't think there's any other room behind the paneling to put the block without it rattling around. So I think this is the best spot. Just move these wires all the way, and I'll have a good mounting location in here somewhere like that. I'll bolt it down, run the wiring, and go ahead and run the power and ground to the back. All right, so I got the cables on there loosely. We're gonna go ahead and pull the wires through. I already ran through the firewall. We'll go to the driver's side of the car. And there they are. Grab a hold of them. All right, so now I got my mounting location. I ran a screw here to hold this in place. I'm probably gonna run a screw on the other half of the side because there's also an eyelet for that. So I have these panels that cover all this up, so you won't be able to see any of it. I don't remember the brand or the name of these covers, but they're aluminum pieces and they work fairly good. So I'm gonna put a link in the description for those. Also, the relocation kit for the Rockford Fosgate PMX2, that's made by UTV Stereo. I'll also leave a link in the description of that. So that covers everything up and then closes it, because the radio would normally stick out here and you'll be able to see that. And now this is the perfect spot for my winch control unit. So I got the control unit all bolted down here. I got one screw on this side and one screw on that side. I'm gonna go ahead and run the cables for the winch, the blue and the yellow, and then I'll remove the seats and we'll go ahead and run the cables for the positive and battery negative. So after I tighten these cables, I'll get back to you guys after I remove these seats. So this is the switch that I'm gonna run for the winch. There's a back or in and out, and what I like about this switch is it looks OEM. So like all my switches for the rock lights, the chase lights, all the stuff that I have on this car, they look OEM and they're all amber backlit or orange backlit, so it looks factory. All right, so I got the 4 main cables all hooked up. The control unit is connected. All I have to do is run the connector for the switch, and the positive and ground, I just gotta run them through the center console all the way to the back. You pretty much zip tie it as you go, avoiding the hot coolant lines and avoiding the drive shaft in some areas where you can see it exposed, which is in the front here, not so much in the back. But for the meantime, I'm gonna run the cables and mount up at the back of the battery. All right, so I got the back half done. I ran the cables and I bolted them onto the battery. I actually have these covers that cover the battery. I'll leave a link in the description where you can find these if I can still find them. These are definitely not really needed. They're just, you know, I don't know, it covers up the battery, covers up all the cables, and it makes it look nice and clean. So I have that on there. The front, the cables appear to be way too long, and by way too long, I mean that's awesome that they're long, because this is the longest car on the market and they plenty of cable length, so that's actually awesome. That means you can put your control box anywhere you want, probably in the front dash. You don't have to worry about putting it in the cubby hole that I put it in. But yeah, so because the cables are long, I'm gonna crimp on new terminals. These actually came in the box, they came in the kit. SuperATV provides them, and I think that's really awesome, because if you have a you know, UTV or ATV and it's a 2-seater, or an ATV that's just, you know, small ATV, and you don't want to run these big long cables, hiding these cables, you know, you can just crimp on some new terminals, cut them where you want them, and crimp on the terminals. So I think that's really cool that they provide you with that. So props to SuperATV for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the cables. I gotta reinstall the seats, and I'll get back to you guys when I'm ready to install the switch and wire up the switch. All right, so the wiring's all done, and I'll show you guys the switch in just a second. But first, I gotta put the hook on, and the hook comes with a pin and a cotter pin. So there, I got the pin on there. The cotter pin is gonna hold that pin from coming out, and then we just gotta put these rubber stops. So I'll stretch this out. I want this as close as possible. This guy. This is good to go. And that's what it looks like. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this in. All right, so I don't have the key on me, but if I hit the switch, the ignition will be on for just a second, and I'll be able to operate the winch. Or if you hold the 2 buttons on this wireless control, the LED indicator will turn on and you'll be able to use the winch from here. And I'll show you guys that. And this will be out. And alright, so this winch setup is pretty good. It looks great on the factory UTV bumper, except that I don't really care for this dangly thing going on here. So I'm gonna end up switching out this hook for something else that will be flush, or not flush, but sit tight against the fairlead. And I'll set a picture somewhere around here so you guys can check that out. They're about 40 bucks, and I think it'll look a lot cleaner than this. So stay tuned for that. Also, the exposed winch motor on the side, I'm not a fan of, but I got a solution for that, and that's this guy. So when I put the bumper on, I kept this guy, and I just finished trimming it up, and we're gonna install it back on there and cover most of that motor up. So check it out. So there's that. Doesn't cover it completely, but it does cover up a whole lot, and it's gonna make it look a lot nicer. Especially on this side, the button's kind of hidden, which I kind of like. We still reach back there and, you know, engage it. So there it is, guys. Not the easiest install in the world, but it's not hard. It takes a little bit of time. Gotta remove the seats, take off some panels. So if you have a bumper or a winch plate that's gonna be able to take one of these winches, I suggest getting one, because you never know when you're gonna have to pull somebody out of the mud, whether that be a Razor or a Kawasaki or something else that's not a Can-Am. You're gonna want to need one of these, and you're gonna be the hero that day. So hey, go ahead, get one, check it out. SuperATV, I'll leave a link in the description. And thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I'll keep making more videos. I got some stuff in store as far as the Can-Am, and let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So I'm trying to spice up the interior here. I already got started. This bezel here is usually the regular flat color that all Can-Ams are. I painted it gloss black. Also, you guys may have noticed the nut is missing for the steering wheel, and that's because this guy's coming off, and I'm getting a NRG quick disconnect steering wheel. So I'll show you guys how to install that hub, how to install the quick disconnect, and how to install a new steering wheel, leather wrapped, whether it be NRG or Assault. It's pretty much all the same process. Until next time, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, give me a comment, give me a like, and let me know what you guys are doing next to your car, because these things are money pits.